I'm going to ask everybody, I'll be repeating this in a moment. I'm just going to ask everybody to stay on mute for the duration here. And then after we're all done, we're going to open it up for some Q&A, but it's a lot easier to get through when we've got 50, 60 people or whatever online. If everybody stays muted, and to just put your questions in the chat box as we go along. So if I could get one or two of you to at least say, hey, yes, I can hear you. And yes, we can see a screen that says LinkedIn lead gen. That would be wonderful. If you could put that in the chat for me, that would be really cool. Appreciate that. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, it's working. I did a webinar about a year ago outside of this business. Well, actually probably 2 years ago outside of the business here. And I went through the entire thing, noticed that people were dropping off. And then person who I knew that was on the program sent me a text afterwards and said, you know, your audio was turned off for the course and the entire duration of the workshop. It's like, oops, no wonder attendance was dropping off. So thank you for confirming that it's actually working. I appreciate that. All right, Nathan, I've got high noon here in Arizona time. So what do you say we kick this off? And as people come in, they will come in. I want to make sure that we are recording this. So let me just, recording is on. Okay, we're good to go. All right, folks, let's kick this off. I'm George Gillis. I am a MAPS transformational coach. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I appreciate your time. We're cognizant of your time, so we're going to try to bring as much value to this meeting as we possibly can. I'm basically going to be turning this over to Nathan Arnold. Nathan started me right before the pandemic. So to give you a real quick background, and he'll give you a little bit more. He came to MAPS and came into KW's, was the team leader with KW for many years, decided to shift gears a little bit and get into the role of being an agent, and started right before COVID hit, which is when he came to me for coaching. And Nathan, I don't mind, I'm gonna share this part with you, because what Nathan's goal was when he came into coaching was to not suck. And he ended up 2020 as number 3 in your office, I think, in production.
Yeah, number 3 right? Single agent in
number 3 single
real estate office,
right? And in the top 5% in his market area now. And one of the things that he did, which I thought was brilliant, was get into LinkedIn and started targeting nurses. So when I learned about this, and I learned about the income that he generated and the ease with which he did it, and the fact that there's no competition on LinkedIn, I thought this would be something that would be valuable for a lot of people to know. And yes, we will be sharing the slides afterwards. Everybody who's registered and on here will be getting a PDF version of the slides. So you're going to have all that. So Nathan, without any further ado, this is your show. I'm going to turn it over to you. Folks, here's the ground rules. I just want to make sure everybody stays on mute, because it's so much easier, so don't have a lot of noise and chatter going on. If you have questions, please throw them into the chat. And Nathan and I have an agreement that if there's a question that's pertinent and you want something repeated, cool, throw it into the chat. We'll pause, we'll go back and reiterate and dig into that point a little bit more for you. I don't think we're going to take more than 45 minutes total time today, including Q&A. If we have more questions at the end, we'll certainly get into that. And like I said, everybody's going to get a copy of this either way. So Nathan Arnold from Columbia, South Carolina, my friend, it is all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, George. Appreciate you, sir. And thank you guys so much for being here. Those that are on the call, I really appreciate y'all jumping in. And, you know, it's funny, as I was preparing this morning, I had a bold law come to mind. And, you know, it's just the one behind me, that's my favorite, right? What you focus on expands. But I was just thinking of the one, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And a year ago at this time, we all know where we were. And yet the fruit of that is that, you know, here we are now on a Zoom call, getting to share and talk with, I think we got 100 people RSVP to this, about how I made 50 grand just telling nurses thank you during the pandemic. And it's been a blessing. It really has. And I just want to jump on and thank you, George. George's coaching and leadership, MAPS coaching has been amazing. As George said, I was a team leader for 4 years, recruited over 400 agents in that time period. Those of you who've ever been a team leader or have heard, it is the hardest job and it is the most rewarding job. It's amazing. But for me, it was time for something a little different. And I came to George. George, I'm ready to practice. And I got to be good at it because I've been preaching it pretty strong for a little while here. So let's rock and roll. I have the pleasure of being in the top 2% of my board right now. I'm an ALC member, and I have the pleasure of chairing the finance committee and being a member of our regional ALC for the Carolinas region. And Bold 7X, love Bold, guys. If you know, everybody in here feels the same way. But y'all, let's get into something here. This is just something fun that I started doing really last summer. And what happened was, quite frankly, I want to do some lead generating, and like we all do, but wasn't quite sure what exactly should I be doing, right? I mean, everybody's got, even still to this day, has a little bit different measure of kind of where they are on COVID. And I said, nurses, I just want to say thank you to nurses and lead with gratitude. At that time, we were doing Bold Pivot and everything was care calls and gratitude. And made some good money from this, y'all, that I'm going to share the how to today. So 50 grand and gross commission income. That came through from 5 new clients that I connected with on LinkedIn. 2 were listings that were taken and sold, 10,500 GCI, and 5 were buyers. For right at 41,000 in GCI. Now I have 5 great relationships with nurses. They're employed, they're influential, they have friends, family connections, they have fellow nurses they work with shoulder to shoulder, and built my database to 250 people, 250 nurses actually. Database is much larger than that, but the nurse portion now, 250 just from clicking, cutting, copying, pasting. These are real people, guys. I've got Michael and Dorcas up here with their 1-year-old Ava. Wonderful family. By the way, a little plug for South Carolina, the #2 relocation state right now during COVID. This is a $260,000 home. It goes a long way here in South Carolina. Keep us in mind. Wonderful people. Jennifer down here is a travel nurse. She bought a brand new $300,000 home. That was awesome. That was also fairly easy as well. It's a new house. Everything's perfect in good order. And then we got Eric and Kristen over here, sold their home, turned around and bought a $430,000 home. And just an absolute pleasure to work with these people. All during COVID, during the thick of COVID. Some of them, actually leaving straight out of the hospital and coming in scrubs to go look at houses. So let me scroll this over here and move these. Got somebody coming through there, George. You mind be able to mute them? So why LinkedIn, right? Why LinkedIn? Now, HubSpot did some research and found that lead conversion is a lot higher on LinkedIn than Twitter, than Facebook. And the Pew Research Center shares that 90% of LinkedIn users have a Facebook account. LinkedIn's kind of some uncontested space. There's not a whole lot of realtors jumping out there on LinkedIn like they are on Facebook, right? So as you look at this, a 2.74% conversion rate, it's much, much higher. As we know, 1% is pretty common. Online lead gen, you got Facebook down here just under 1%, Twitter. So just a higher conversion rate. 45% of internet users who make more than $75 a year use LinkedIn, while only 25% of those in the $50,000 to $75,000 range use a platform. So your LinkedIn folks, just by research, tend to be your higher educated folks that are making more money. And I'm going to show y'all a slide here in a minute that correlates with that.
Yeah, let that little piece of data sink in, folks. All right, 45% of people who make more than $75,000 annually. This is you're in a very rich market when you're targeting LinkedIn. Just want to let that number hang out there for a moment.
Yeah. Thanks, George, for pointing that out. Yeah, high income earners and either employed or rapidly seeking employment on LinkedIn. It's also a big recruiting site. It's also how I started using LinkedIn a lot too as a team leader. Half the internet users with a college degree or higher are using LinkedIn. That's a pretty strong number. Limited competition. Most agents are on Facebook, in my experience at least. There's not a lot of competitors out there on LinkedIn. As George and I have joked before, people go on Facebook to talk politics, to vent, to rant, to watch cat videos. It's kind of a catch-all these days. LinkedIn, it's business, and it's business focused, it's business appropriate. There's just less chatter and noise. My personal favorite is free. Right, you can sign up. That's the point I wanted to make here too. You can sign up for the LinkedIn premium membership and all that. I haven't. Everything I've done here is just on the free version. This is why too, look at the unemployment and the income by sector. And those of you that went to family reunion recognize this slide, of course. Nurses are employed, guys. Education and healthcare services, they're in the employed bracket. Now, lots of other employed brackets here as well. Again, nurses was more of a personal choice for me than a strategic choice. I mean, it just also happened to be a strategic choice. But I sincerely just wanted to say thank you and talk to people and communicate and start building that bridge and that database for the long term. And again, I started this in the summer when COVID was really in full roar. So we got the percentage of internet users here who use LinkedIn. The key thing here is going to be the age group, right? I like this right here, age 36 to 45 on up. Of course, like everyone on the call, I sell homes to people of all of everything, shades, colors, ages, the whole bit. But I'll show you why this is really important here. People tend to be a little older on LinkedIn. They tend to be a little more thoroughly employed, making more money. And Gary's slide here from Family Reunion, y'all, unemployment and housing by age. That's the segment 35 and up. That's the segment that's buying homes right now. And what I found, a lot of your younger crowds on Facebook doing Facebook things and maybe talking about business, but LinkedIn, we tend to have the 35 plus folks that are gainfully employed and looking to buy and looking to sell. So a little more strategy there for you that, again, just worked for me. So why nurses? Again, like I said, it's kind of a personal choice in many ways. I like nurses. When I get hurt, I really appreciate a great nurse, a great doctor. And those folks work so hard always. And when COVID came, their lives just got even harder and more difficult and more complicated. I knew a nurse actually who worked on the COVID wing who for a time didn't have face mask. True story. Right here in Columbia, didn't have face masks. They just didn't have enough to go around. And he's in the thick of it every day without a face mask, working long, hard hours. And I want to say thank you. These also, from a strategy standpoint, nurses are employed, strong job security during a pandemic. That is a job that's not going away in a global pandemic. And they work in close groups with lots of contact, multiple people. These are folks now. I've even got, matter of fact, Jennifer, who I mentioned earlier, her sister is thinking about selling a home or selling her home. And I'll be having a conversation with her. You guys know how this game works. You get people into your database and you keep building a relationship with them. I chose a service-oriented group. There's other choices too. You could do teachers, police officers, firefighters, military, first responders, paramedics. There's a lot of folks that are out there working really, really hard. You can just say thank you to. All right. So who's ready for the how-to? Probably got some high D's on this call. When do we get to the how-to, the meat, the potatoes? Let's make it happen. It's pretty simple stuff, y'all, but we're going to jump in and do this. Step one.
Hey, Nathan, before you go into that, talk a little bit about what we were talking about yesterday or the day before. We were talking about the difference between going wide and going deep. Because you could easily get into LinkedIn and do police officers, first responders, EMTs, teachers, as opposed to going deep. So give them a little bit of feedback on what your experience has been there.
Yeah, great point. Thanks, George. Yeah, so going deep purposefully, right? It's the same thing if you were doing flyers in a neighborhood. If you had 5,000 flyers to point out, you could send, one flyer to 5,000 homes, right? Or you could send, whatever the math would be, dividing that up by 10, right? 500 flyers to 10 homes, or 10 times. It's 10 flyers to 500 homes. It's going to go deep that's where you're going to start getting your results. That's where you're going to start getting your consistency. And the way that LinkedIn is set up, when you first start doing this, if you, like for me, I didn't necessarily know a ton of nurses. I mean, I know a few, but I would go in and I'd start connecting with nurses, and these people don't really know who I am. So the response rate's a little on the slower side. But once you start connecting with people, whenever you go to connect with someone that they know, it's going to show that. So at this point, when I go to send somebody a request, it's, what shows up on their end is Nathan Arnold sent you a request. Here's his message saying thank you, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, he knows 15 of your coworkers. It's like, oh, wow, who's this guy? I don't know him, but I kind of feel like I should. I'll go ahead and click. And y'all probably had the same experience before when somebody sends you a request. If you don't know them or you have no mutual friends on Facebook or what have you, you're less likely to click. And that's probably what would happen if you cast a pretty wide net out there for, firefighters, teachers, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. You probably won't get that depth that results in a higher conversion rate to them accepting the invitation and connecting with them. So, yeah, thanks, George. That's a good point. All right. So I'm going to jump into my LinkedIn profile here in just a minute and kind of show you guys the how-to hands-on, how to drive. But step one is reaching out to your sphere of influence on LinkedIn and ask for a recommendation on your profile. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, of course, first step is setting up a profile and then inviting everybody you know to connect, just like you do on Facebook. Step two, update, build your profile. Think of your profile as a landing page for new connections, right? Just like we do with a listing. Your profile is going to be pretty much your resume with some, things cool stuff that you've done. It's Facebook. For those that aren't really, familiar with LinkedIn, it's Facebook, but it's all business. There's not really a lot of personal stuff on there. It's business, it's credentials, it's education, experience, certifications, connections, that sort of thing. So let me jump out of this and let me jump into share my screen and in a different way. All right, let's see here. I'm going to stop the share here, George, and then I'm going to step it back up. All right, did that transition pretty well? Are we seeing?
You got it. You
awesome.
got it. Yep.
Okay.
You're in command.
Okay. So I'm going to start right here. Just bear with me. It's kind of hard to see when you're typing. You got all the windows there. So just going to LinkedIn. I'm going to go to my profile. I'd love for you guys to connect with me on LinkedIn, by the way. And you can set your profile up in any way similar to Facebook. This talks just a little bit about me, my vision, who I am, what I do, where I'm trying to go. Love teaching and coaching and helping people buy and sell houses. Shows your followers. By the way, this is another cool thing with LinkedIn. Facebook caps you out at 5,000. LinkedIn, you can go to 35,000, which is really cool. For me, that's a really big number of people you can connect with. So this will show different things that you've posted, just like on Facebook. Shows your experience. This is the resume portion. Shows your experience, what you've done. I mean, you guys know how to sell yourself on what you've done. Education, like a resume. Certifications, licenses, that sort of thing. Skills and endorsements. This is a fun one you can play around with. You can ask people to endorse you. That's just kind of like them liking, endorsing you on a certain skill. Recommendations. This is the big one because this is the one, whenever a stranger clicks on your page here, you want them to be able to see all kind of different people recommend you. And this is pretty critical because if I'm clicking, if I'm inviting somebody I don't know to connect with me, first thing they'll be like, hey, who is this guy? So if I know a lot of their friends, that's going for me. That's great. But even if I don't, you want them to be able to go and look at your recommendations. Okay, cool. This guy, this girl's legit. They're doing a lot of work, and some of these people are like past clients. Some are just connections, right? People I've worked with. Some are fellow realtors that we've done deals together with. folks that are going to say something nice about you. Now, how do you get a recommendation? This is super duper easy. We go ask for a recommendation. Matter of fact, George, choose you here. George Gillis, great maps coach. You select the relationship. So if it's a coworker, et cetera, I am a mentor of George's or mentee. George mentors me. And then my position, current position, next. Hey, George, could you write me a recommendation? And you can add on to this. I'll return the favor. I'm boosting my LinkedIn page, et cetera, et cetera. We send it that quick. So one of the things I did on the front end is I went through several, about a couple hundred people. I got about a 10% response rate because not everybody's on LinkedIn all the time as well. But I reached out to folks and just said, hey, build my profile, say something nice about me. I'll say something nice about you. I appreciate it. By the way, I'm now in sales because for me, I was transitioning out of leadership back into production. So I wanted them to know too, this is just touching your database, right? I'm now back in sales. Hey, who do you know? Looking to buy, looking to sell. So we're kind of killing two birds with two stones. Now, normally I would ask any questions on that, but do we have anything, George, showing up on the chat? Any particular questions? Or is that pretty stuff?
Nothing yet. So folks, if you have questions, put them up. I just want to share that as soon as you sent me that recommendation, here's what happens on my end as a LinkedIn user. I logged into my LinkedIn account just like you log into Facebook, and there's a little bar that comes up on the right side of my screen that says messaging, and from Nathan Arnold, hi George, could you write a recommendation? There, so it pops right up. So I would click on that, write a recommendation, and then it'll show right up on Nathan's page. And the reciprocation here is really powerful because it's all professionals referring professionals. Nothing like, oh, I really liked your cat video, or I liked your vacation videos, or that looked like a really good dinner that you had last night. Stuff doesn't fly on LinkedIn. It's all professional. It's all about business.
That's right. And I always ask for business. I'm a huge believer in the who do you know from Worker Church, looking to buy or sell. I get a lot of business from just that script. But this could just be something as simple as, don't even ask for business. Just say, hey, write me a referral, because they'll probably look on your profile and it's just another reminder, top of mind. You're in real estate, you can help them. All right, let's jump back in to the PowerPoint here. For the current slide. All right. So the next portion of the how-to here, searching for nurses. And I'm going to go back into LinkedIn. I'll show you guys step-by-step how to do this. Or any profession. Search by people, not by job. You search by job, that's going to be like applying for jobs to be that position. And you can also search by location, which is really important. Step 4, you go through the search results and connect with each person. Now, here's the tricky part. There are some spam limitations. So I go in, I cut and paste, and I'm sending invites out. It kicks me out at about 75 invites. It'll stop it. And it'll say, hey, no more invites for a week. And so really what I started doing, I spend about 15 minutes a week doing this. I mean, really 15 minutes a week in lead gen to make 50 grand. This is not really not rocket science. Matter of fact, when George and I were first talking about it, I'm like, really? You want to do webinar? I'm like, it's so simple. It's like, that's the beauty of it. It's simple. It's just the repetition of clicking. And I'll show you guys what that looks like exactly here in just a moment. And we're building our database.
Nathan, when did you start with the LinkedIn program? I know it was in the summer. Do you remember when?
I think it was late summer.
Like August or something?
July, but it might even have been as late as August.
Yeah. So let's say August, September, October, November, December, 5 months of 15 minutes a week for 50 grand.
Yeah.
And 250 people in your database.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello. Can you say return on investment? All right. I just want that ROI thing is kind of important. Pardon me for being the hammer here, but I really like to drive this home. This is a gold mine, folks, as long as you work it. Go ahead, buddy.
It honestly feels like cheating a little bit. I mean, as a team leader for 4 years, lead gen 5 times a week, right? 3 hours a day, 9 to 12, and almost capping, just kind of pointing and clicking 15 minutes a week. it's a little way to game the system. So like I said, I think a lot of it too right now, guys, is just uncontested space. Not a lot of people are on LinkedIn. And anyways, then there's a lot of strategy like we were talking about earlier in the earlier slides, and I'll show y'all here in a second. But no, great point, George. Step 5, they submit the request, send a message. And these are specially crafted messages too. And I'll share the strategy on that here in a minute, as well as the actual message. Then they respond back, send them another message. I check their profile and see, who are they, where do they work, what do they do, and then how much info I can get. It's normally not much. It's usually just an email address. Some folks put their birthday. That's awesome. I'm putting that in command. Some people put their address. They're getting a postcard in the mail with my business cards. Some people put their phone number, and you can bet they're getting a phone call. Not like that moment, but once I kind of build out that relationship. But usually it's just an email. And then add to KW Command. I put a tag on them. I got a tag for nurses and put them on a drip campaign. Simple stuff.
What kind of response are you having when you do connect with them? That initial contact.
Pretty good. It's digital. Normally, the most common message is thank you. I'm sending a message of gratitude. I'm getting a message back of thank you. Then I'm sending a message, thanks for connecting, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling them about adding them onto my real estate update network. I'm getting permission to start sending them email updates, and I'm putting them in the database, and I'm just building. I would say, I honestly don't know how many I've sent out. 75 a week times however many weeks, maybe 1,000 is probably accurate, I guess. I haven't really tallied the math on that yet. 250 have responded there in my database. 5 said yes and bought stuff. So it's, again, this is 15 minutes a week for free. So it's been really good. That's a great question though. Thank you. Here's the script. And let me preface this. In my town, there are a lot of mortgage companies that will offer some kind of something for first responders, whether that's a credit or what have you. And every home builder I know of has some kind of special discounts for first responders. So these are out there. I'm telling them about them first, and it's coming from me. So this is the first message. Thank you for your service to our community as a nurse, especially during COVID-19. I appreciate you, really do. I partner with many mortgage companies and home builders right here in the Midlands. The Midlands is kind of the name of Columbia, South Carolina, to offer special discounts and financing programs for nurses. Let's keep in touch. And I'm trying to get them onto my Facebook business page. So I put that there. Most of them respond. They say, thanks. Awesome. When they respond, I get an email in my inbox, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a moment. And then I just click on that and I jump in. Hi. And this is just cutting and pasting. Hi, and I put their name in there. Thanks for connecting with me here on LinkedIn. I'll add you on to my real estate update network. That way they're not feeling spammed or surprised when they start getting emails. Is there anything particular I can do to be a service at this time? And I get responses on that. No, thanks so much. We just bought a home. Nope, thinking about this, thinking about that, but we'll keep in touch. And then some of them, yes. Matter of fact, the family that was in front of the home, Michael and Dorcas, they responded, and my first meeting with them was Zoom. The buyer consult was a Zoom call, and the next meeting was a Zoom call. And I actually didn't meet them in person until we went out to go see the first home. So we're just in different times these days, which is cool. All right, back into LinkedIn. Let's see here. Okay, so give me just a moment. They put this little bars like right in the way to click on stuff. Okay. All right. So let's drive. So I'm in LinkedIn. I'm gonna go search for nurses, people. You can see a lot of pendings because I've asked a lot of people to.
Okay. Nathan,
Yes,
when you search, explain a little bit about one column comes up, it says jobs, one column comes up, it says people. Let's explain the difference between, this is a key thing, otherwise you're going to be really frustrated and they're going to be recruiting you for a nursing job.
Yeah, thanks. Crucial. You want to click on nurses and people. What this is going to do is this is going to search profiles for people that are nurses as a job.
Right.
You search
Or
nurses.
police or EMT or whatever category you want to go deep on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point, George. Because otherwise you will start getting recruited to be a nurse or EMT or whatever it is. So we're going to that job and we're going in people. And we're going to go in location. I live in Columbia, South Carolina, center of the state, 2 hours from the beach and 2 hours from the mountains, by the way.
Shameless self-promotion. That's all right.
Self-promotion. And then this one here, to connect, add a note, cut and paste. Boom. That simple. And all I'm doing is I'm just cutting and pasting that message. Thank you so much. Special programs. Let's keep in touch. Now the pendings. These are people I've sent. You'll see there's a lot. And you go through, boom, 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 boom. I think it puts like 15 or so in a column here. And you go to next.
Yeah, as far as response rate goes, Nathan, I just did some quick math. I'm figuring you sent out probably about 1,500 invites. You got 250 back. That's about a 17% response rate. That's pretty darn healthy. Okay. 17 for every, yeah.
And then you'll see, again, there's more pendings, but I would just go in here and then I'm just clicking. I'm clicking connect. It opens. I've got it saved on my clipboard. Boom. Thank you, blah, 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 blah. It's the same message. Send. Go to the next. Boom. Send, send, send. And I just do that in maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes until I hit that limit and LinkedIn shuts it down and says, come back next week. I just come back next week. I put a reminder on my calendar, Tuesdays, 11:30. Go in, boop, 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 then I'm done. And you get a little cycle going because people respond. And then when they respond, they show up in your inbox and it looks like this. And this is one that came in last night, actually, and I just let it be there for today. So Mackenzie here, she looks like she is a registered student nurse anesthetist. Nurse anesthetist, hard to say that word, make great money. Just a notch below doctors, actually. Now she's a student for that, probably going to be looking to buy a home here at some point when she graduates. So what I would do is I click on this message, takes me back into LinkedIn. So you can see my first message to her. Thank you. Bop, 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 bop. Keep in touch. So write the message. And I just go to one of the previous messages. Copy. Let's say, hi, Mackenzie. Make sure I spell her name there right. Hi, Mackenzie. Say message to everybody. Thanks for connecting. I'll add you onto my real estate network. Anything I can do. Have a lovely day. And then I go up here. I go to her profile. And I just see, what's going on. She's at University of South Carolina, which is cool. That's my alma mater too. We already have something in common. And I can go to contact info. But right now we can see she's a full-time student. Contact info. Hey, she did a birthday. Awesome. So I got birthday and email. Birthday is kind of a bonus. Phone number is like a huge bonus. Usually it's just an email. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy her email here. I'm going to jump into command. And I'm going to add her in. If you guys see me fiddling around here, I'm trying to move all these little windows and stuff that pops up with Zoom. So add a contact. I'm going to add Kenzie Anderson. Email. If I have her phone number, I put it in. Tags. I've got a tag. I've got 2 tags I like to do. I'm meeting her as a new Met in first quarter 2021. And I'm meeting her. She's a nurse, healthcare professional.
Thanks.
If I had more information, I could put that in. I've got about, and I do have a birthday, February 28th. I think that means she gets a year older, like every 4 years, right? Isn't that a leap day?
No, 20.
So go in here. Created her. Now I'm gonna go back in and find her. there's a lot of opportunity for this second part. I've just done the very, very basics. So as far as what I normally do is I go in here and I look and I say, okay, she's Lexington County. Got two main counties of Columbia, and they're kind of the two parts of town. So Lexington County, there is a really cool neighborhood, neighborhood in Lexington County, and it is called Saluda River Club. Actually won some awards, national awards, like best neighborhood back in like 2018. So that's it there. I'm adding that. All right, I gotta move this to click on that. Okay, so I got her in there. Again, guys, nothing over the top. I'm going to Smart Plan. Told her she's getting a real estate update. So I'm just gonna put her on a bi-weekly. Start that tomorrow. Now she gets an email twice a month. As you go through and meet people, just connecting, I'm just kind of throwing them back in the hopper. I'm meeting them, I'm throwing them in the hopper. The cool thing, one of the things I like too with LinkedIn, as people that you're connected with, like have things happen and get new jobs and stuff like that, it'll update you. And so whenever folks are getting a promotion or what have you, I'm just saying, like Tequila here, she got a job promotion. I don't know if it'll show the top part. Yeah, it won't show the top part, but yesterday she got a job promotion. Came up on my feed. Hey, congratulations on the new job. Boom. You know, Nathan, the real estate guy, is just kind of saying, hey, right? Angela here, same thing. She got a job, or not a job. She had a job. She got a promotion. Let me jump back into the PowerPoint here. Step 7, continue to grow your LinkedIn network. Just like you guys do now online. A lot of us do it on Facebook. I still do it on Facebook, of course. Post success stories, share content, comments. You sell a new home. I love to do the pictures where I sell a house. At closing, we hold the sold sign, or we take a picture in front of their home. I put it out on Facebook. If I'm friends with them, I tag it on it. And then, of course, their friends comment. You can invite them as friends. Same kind of thing on LinkedIn. It's less social on LinkedIn, but I'm especially every time I'm selling a home to a nurse, I'm putting that on LinkedIn. I'm tagging them in it. Their friends, coworkers are seeing that, and just creating engaging content. One of the cool things too, most everyone that's on LinkedIn is on Facebook. I mean, the whole world's pretty much on Facebook. So when I'm connecting with them professionally on LinkedIn, I'll circle back around as well and connect with them. Not everybody, but I'll connect with many on a personal level on my personal Facebook page. And I'm always trying to get everybody to join my business Facebook page. Then you can do smart plans as well. This is, by the way, I think this is a gold mine for all of us. I'm clipping along on the surface here, getting great results, but we can all start going deep with some smart plans. I did one at the end of the year for like a Christmas giveaway. And I set up a smart plan where I designed a survey on SurveyMonkey, again, for free. Like I'm not spending any money on this. And then I set up a survey on SurveyMonkey. And I just asked them, it was like 4 questions. Like, what's it like right now being a nurse? What's your biggest struggle? How are you overcoming that? Is there anything that I can do or anyone I know to help this, global problem we all find ourselves in? And one of the mandated fields was, their name, phone number, email, mailing address. And then I did a prize giveaway. I went to my local chiropractor and sorted out a giveaway with her where she would basically reduce the price of something. And then I paid the rest, like $50, and I can offer a $100 prize. And I got 12 people that responded to that. Now I've got their mailing address. Now I've got them on a 12 by 12 postcard campaign. A lot of companies you can use. I happen to use a company called amcards.com, and I just send out postcards to those people. But this is not rocket science. This is straight out of the MREA, old school MREA lead gen funnel, right? People we haven't met, you meet them, get them onto some kind of 8x8 type campaign, and then move them into a 12 by 12 and then a 33 touch, ultimately, to just kind of keep that ball rolling and stay in their world.
This is using LinkedIn essentially the same way a lot of us are using Facebook. A couple questions came up. Or a question came up about the price of LinkedIn. You can upgrade. There is a premium service that's available, and you don't need it. You can use the free service, the free platform, absolutely fine. Nathan, one of the questions that came up was, will you share your smart plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I can open it. I can go to it now. All right, let's see. And to share the wealth, guys, I'm sure we've got a couple people on here really good at smart plans that can come up with something awesome on this. Share with the group. The one I just put them on is one of the defaults. That's just the bi-weekly, so twice a month they get the neighborhood landing page for a popular neighborhood. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. There's like 4 big neighborhoods in town that everybody knows about that are kind of at different corners of the town. That's pretty much what I'm doing, unless I know where this person's from. I'm just picking the neighborhood that's probably kind of sort of closest to them, or I just put all 4 on there and send it out. I'm just trying to get them to engage and really see my face in their inbox twice a month.
That's right.
Here's the one that I created for nurses. So this is my nurse and healthcare one. I had an email. You could probably see this, but if you can't, it's small print, I'll read it. Hey, their name. How you doing since we first connected on LinkedIn? I trust all is well in your world. I want to let you know about a nurse and healthcare worker appreciation promotion I'm doing. How would a free 1-hour massage at a local chiropractic office sound to you? Register for the drawing in 60 seconds here. And then, of course, that link takes you to the SurveyMonkey survey, where I'm just asking them, just how are you doing, basically? What's the biggest struggle in your world right now? What's it like being a nurse during COVID? How can I help? Just honestly, just trying to help. This is all gratitude lead gen. The next email is pretty much the same thing, worded differently. This went out a week later. Just wanted to follow back up with you on a fun opportunity for some much needed relaxation and renewal. I'm doing a nurse and healthcare worker appreciation promotion as a thank you to nurses and healthcare workers in my network. Free 1-hour massage. The chiropractor discounted that by half. I paid the rest of $50. And then I got lots of mailing addresses and that sort of thing, and then sent out the coupon to lucky winner. And I think the last one, actually that was it. And then I sent one more email. So last chance to enter the drawing, same thing again, just 3 emails to kind of build up. But you could take this for anything. And then again, this is the level I've not quite gone that next step down, but I've got everybody tagged in Command. If you don't know how to tag people in Command or aren't familiar with Command, check with your team leader. I know he or she would love to have a business consultation with you, especially after this webinar. I might even know your team leader. Feel free to drop my name. We might be friends that, met at different events and stuff during the course of my service. And you can go deep here. I mean, you could build all kinds of smart plans right here. But really the main one's that bi-weekly.
Yeah. And we want to keep and that's a great question. And I just want people to know that, it's already available. You have a plan. The other plans are in there. You can create your own. The main purpose of this is the top of the funnel is how to use LinkedIn to get highly qualified, employed professionals into your database. Again, quick math, Nathan probably sent about 1,500 or so requests over the period from August to December, added 250 people to his database, closed 5 deals, $50,000 in income. And I've honestly, folks, I think you could do this with anybody. And the idea of going to first responders with a legitimate offer coming from contribution, just basically saying thank you for, it's like walking up to somebody in the service and thanking them, or shaking a cop's hand at a Dunkin' Donuts and thanking them for what they do. That it's going to open up the conversation and set you apart. So, all right, so let's open it up here for any questions. If you want to unmute and fire a question off, or you want to put something else in the chat. I think we answered everything that was put in the chat so far. Anybody else have anything, any other questions?
I'm not seeing the smart plans in the library. Is it under nurse and healthcare?
So that smart plans one that I created, personally, so that won't be in there.
Oh, you said it's not published?
It's not published. No.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm happy to share that, publish that. I just haven't, so it wouldn't be in
Okay,
searching. Yeah.
understood. Okay.
While we're kind of waiting on other questions, George, you mind if I share something?
No, go. Yeah.
One thing here is just sitting with my personal maps coach. I'm always thinking leverage. For those of you with admins and assistants and even a VA, they can do this for you. I'm just clicking, cutting, pasting, clicking, sending stuff out. I mean, feel free to share this webinar, with your admin team and say, hey, do that, right? And they could start building as long as they can log in to, your command, to your LinkedIn profile, to your email, they can run. I mean, this is kind of set to be on autopilot. And if anybody signs up for the premium LinkedIn, if you can't tell, I'm a huge proponent of Together We All Achieve More. If anybody signs up for the premium and finds like a new level on this, share with the group. I looked into premium. It's like $70 a month. I didn't quite see anything that would really boost this. So I just stayed where I was for free. But the math makes sense. I mean, even if you had to pay $70 a month for premium for this, I mean, the dollars are there, the ROI is. I'd love to get
one sale is a great return.
Yeah, one referral. I limited this locally because I wanted to. And you know what too kind of motivated me to do this? I meant to share this earlier. We did a Red Day project last May, and we dropped off food to nurses, and that was one of the light bulb moments of, man, it just felt amazing to show up to a hospital with just boxes of Chick-fil-A to hand to nurses, and that was in the thick of COVID, right, mid-May. And we just showed up and just said, hey, we love you guys. Thanks for what you do. And here you go. And so I just kind of did the digital version of that.
Quick question, Nathan. Is there anything that you're naturally posting on your LinkedIn, like consistently?
Like naturally posting?
I mean, just, are you putting, stats, or what does your LinkedIn look like on a consistent basis? As far as, I know you're reaching out to nurses, but as far as you posting and providing content in itself.
Yeah, great question. So mine tends to be more on the business side of things. Let me jump in. I'll go to my profile and I'll show you like my last 4. So I like to post articles, whether it's from realtor.com or from Outfront Magazine, or the Home Building Association. I've got a lot of contacts in new home builds. I'm just posting things to, let me think of the best way to answer your question. I'm just showing that I'm active, right? So like, here's one that I posted. Who's leading you to win in today's real estate market, right? This was a NAR study that came out. A lot of people are entering. It's tough. Multi-offers are the name of the game. Columbia's got 0.9 month supply, less than a month supply of houses. I mean, it's crazy. So that's just letting folks know, hey, are you scared to get in? I'm here. Here's another one. I won an award for our local realtor board. Just saying thank you, clients, friends, and family, appreciate you, et cetera, et cetera. Not unlike a lot of stuff that I'm posting on Facebook. I'm just not putting, like on Facebook, I'll put like me and my kids, like playing soccer with my son, or, taking my daughter to dance, just trying to keep that balance where it's not just real estate. LinkedIn, it is more business. You can just, I don't think I ever really post anything personal on LinkedIn. It's just all business stuff. Good question.
Okay.
If you want to irritate people on LinkedIn, put political stuff up.
Oh gosh.
And you'll get hammered by people who are reading it, because this is think of it as the un-Facebook almost.
Yeah.
It's business, it's professional, it's upbeat, it's optimistic, and you're dealing with the kind of people that you want in your world. Yeah, whole different. The systems are basically the same. The tactics are the same. With posts and pictures, but it's professional and it's business as opposed to personal stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody on LinkedIn understands that. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other questions? We held it to about 48 minutes. This is good. Everybody gets a few minutes back in their busy day. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Cool. Nathan, any closing comments?
Shameless plug time. South
Shameless plug
Carolina
time.
is the #2 relocation destination during COVID. It's a wonderful place to live. I've been here 21 years. We have beautiful beaches in Columbia, 1.5 to 2 hours from the beach. Beautiful beaches. We have the mountains, 2 hours drive from the mountains on the west. We have the largest training facility for the U.S. Army in the nation. So if anybody works with military folks, we got Fort Jackson is right here. It's like 20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. If you've got Air Force folks, we've got Shaw Air Force Base in Sumter, which is just about 45 minutes from here. The average price is $240,000. I know a ton of people in South Carolina. I'd love to be your one-stop South Carolina guy. I can obviously help you in Columbia. If not Columbia, being a team leader for 4 years, meeting everybody all over the state and beyond. I got a guy, I got a girl in every major city in South Carolina, and for that matter, North Carolina as well as part of our region.
There you go.
With me, LinkedIn, Facebook business page, Twitter, KW Command referral group, my personal page. See me and my kids running around doing goofy stuff, playing soccer. Would love to, meet you, grow my referral network, and swap some ideas too. Share, y'all play around with this. When you learn something cool, share it back. Let's get better, make more money, and have fun.
Beautiful. All right. All right, everybody. I appreciate your time, and let's go out and make 2021 a great year. Nathan, great job, pal. And you're getting lots of thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, here's the
Very
great
good.
question. You're #2. What's the #1 destination? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. So believe it or not, actually, let me do a group poll while we still got everybody on here. And I think we're still 5 minutes before the end, 10 minutes. We're early. Just a quick poll. Where do you think the first #1 location is? Anybody want to type that in or say that out?
We got Austin, Texas, Idaho, Florida, Connecticut,
Good choices.
Florida or Atlanta.
My first two, this all comes, by the way, NAR did a really good research study into the year. 8.9 million people relocated during the pandemic.
Wow.
From March to end of December. So that's where these stats are coming from, and maybe even more since then. But #1, I thought was Florida or Texas for sure. Is actually New Jersey.
People moving to New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay, they're moving out of New York metro area probably and going to. Interesting.
Going across the line, getting out at
Going
that
across the line. Yeah.
Getting out of New York.
Yeah. Well, if there's anybody here from New Jersey, my favorite question is what exit? And on that, we'll leave it. Those of you from the East Coast understand that one.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So New Jersey, I'll tell you what, Columbia, South Carolina over Jersey any day. Sorry if you're from Jersey. I'm from Philly. I've earned the right to say that. Right? Joe Corkin agrees. I see you up there, buddy. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. You'll be getting an email with the link to this Zoom recording and the PDF version of the PowerPoint coming out shortly. It's just going to take us a little while to put that all together. Thanks, everybody. Go out there and buy some houses, sell some houses. Let's do some real estate, and I'll see you soon. See you at the next event, hopefully live.
Yes.